Over 1 year later than expected, several leaders of the Trinational Future Combat Air System (FCAS) program claimed to be on the precipice of finally launching the next work phase that would eventually lead to a suite of new weapons and systems for France, Germany, and Spain. Berlin and Madrid announced November 18 that a political agreement had been reached to move forward with the next phase of work, known as Phase 1B, after many months of stymied progress. But the silence from third-party Paris has left observers puzzled over where the program truly stands. The political agreement for the FCAS is a big step and especially in these times an important sign of the excellent cooperation of France, Germany and Spain, the Spanish and German defense ministries said in identical statements. It strengthens Europe's military capabilities and ensures important know-how for our industry and, more broadly, for European industry. Similarly, Airbus Defence and Space, which leads the German industrial involvement in the program, and Indra, representing Spain, released identical statements on November 18 lauding the progress. We can confirm that discussions among industry and governments on the next phase of FCAS have concluded, which represents a big step forward for this European flagship defense program, the company said. But the actual contract between the three industry players has yet to be signed, they acknowledged, adding, "Now, a number of formal steps in the respective countries have to be taken in order to allow a speedy contract signature." Dassault CEO Eric Trappier confirmed on Monday that an industry contract between Dassault and Airbus has yet to be signed. Speaking on France's RTL radio, Trappier called Friday's statement a pseudo-political announcement driven by potential leaks regarding Germany's approvals on the project. Asked whether an industry contract may be signed this week, Trappier said only, "We'll see." Work-share-related delays. The FCAS program, also known as SCAF, for its French name Système de Combat Aérien du Futur, was announced in 2017 by then German Chancellor Angela Merkel and French President Emmanuel Macron, and Spain was introduced as a third partner in 2019. The effort consists of 7 technology pillars, including a 6th-generation fighter aircraft which will replace the participants' fleets of Dassault Rafale and Eurofighter Typhoon aircraft, a new engine for the fighter jet, a next-generation weapon system, new drones, advanced sensors and stealth technology, and an air combat cloud network. Phase 1A, launched in 2020 as a research phase that would allow the FCAS team to identify potential technology hurdles early on to manage risk, was due to end in early 2021. Phase 1B, also known as the pre-demonstrator phase, would focus on developing the fighter prototype ahead of a target flight date in 2027, with 3 years of testing and evaluation to follow before the manufacturing phase begins in 2030. Stakeholders hope to field the entire architecture by 2040. But months of industrial infighting over work-share agreements have placed the program on the back burner. Trappier has long announced that the postponement of the Phase 1B launch stems from a labor-sharing agreement between its company and Airbus, specifically in relation to its central program, the Next Generation Fighter, NGF. While Dassault is the main post office in that element, Airbus has offered a larger role on the plane and sees itself as a key partner at eye level, and not just a supplier, the company said. Dassault must remain the uncontested leader of the NGF, Trappier has said in previous statements. He remained coy on Monday as to when an FCAS demonstrator aircraft would finally be revealed. While the goal was to have a prototype aircraft flying by 2027, the Phase 1B delays have pushed the timeline back by 2 years, he has previously said. "At some point, we'll need an aircraft that will replace our current aircraft," he told RTL. But effectively, the Rafale has a long life ahead of it. Did Dassault get its way? For a year, there was an exchange of accusations between, mainly, Airbus Germany and Dassault Aviation, about which sector was more favored in the division of responsibilities for the different pillars of development of the future European next-generation air combat system. From Dassault, they argued that due to their capacity and experience as a historical manufacturer of combat aircraft for the French armed forces, they should lead the development pillar of the flight demonstrator of the future sixth-generation fighter, and Airbus DNS-SAU, Spain, together with Airbus DNS GmbH, Germany, would be in second place as main partners. From Germany, the criticism was harsh. On the one hand, in terms of workload, the German aerospace industry charged that the agreements reached excessively favored French positions to the detriment of its own interests. On the other hand, it was argued that in the end, Germany would end up subsidizing French aerospace development, since the demonstrator pillar of the future sixth-generation fighter is the most technologically advanced of all. At the political level, the decision had been made. Whether in France, Germany, or Spain, the dispute was at the corporate level. But it seems that the issue was settled to Dassault's satisfaction. We'll now be able to move into the next phase of studies, known as 1B, to prepare for the development of a demonstrator, which should fly around 2029. We have been confirmed in our role as prime contractor and architect of the aircraft, and we have obtained protection for our industrial know-how and technologies. Being the architect of a new fighter aircraft is very motivating for our company, our teams, those of Airbus, our main partner, Indra, and our long-standing partners, Safran, Thales, and MBDA. Not to mention our ecosystem of subcontractors in all three countries who will be part of the adventure, not to mention all the young people we'll be recruiting to work with the experienced ones who were involved in the Rafale adventure, said an enthusiastic Eric Trappier. Now it only remains to wait for the formal signing of the contract so that the race to design the successor air combat system to the Eurofighter and Rafale can continue. Time is of the essence. The pressure continues to grow for the FCAS industry representatives to sign a deal imminently. Germany's budgetary committee will soon meet for the last time before the new year, and Berlin is anxious to ensure the committee approves the contract details before its session ends. The German Ministry of Defense's statement said the conclusion of political talks means the Bundestag, Germany's parliament, can now take up the FCAS project for funding deliberations. The necessary steps can now be taken in order to be able to submit the documents to the Budget Committee for information in a timely manner, the ministry said. But that could be interpreted as putting pressure on Berlin and Airbus to get Paris and Dassault to complete the agreement as quickly as possible, said the industry source, who requested anonymity while discussing internal deliberations. If the Budget Committee doesn't give the green light to open the FCAS fund before the end of the year, that could mean more months of stagnation as European governments close for winter holidays. Observers have long made comparisons of the industry infighting between the nascent Next Generation Systems of Systems program and the unravelings of the 1980s joint European fighter program that ultimately led to Germany, the United Kingdom, and Italy developing the Eurofighter Typhoon, and France building the Rafale. The concern now is that history may be repeating itself, and what progress is made on FCAS over the next 3 or so years will be an indicator, the industry source said.